Hello, and welcome to a little video about reflections as functions. Alright, now reflections in mathematics means exactly the same thing that it does in our everyday life. A reflection creates an inverted image. We can get reflections in various ways, right? In a mirror, on glass, in water, right? You can see a reflection. And whenever we wear like something with clothes on it, you can very obviously see how the image is inverted, right? The letters they look wrong. They're flipped. So the same thing is going to happen here in math. We are going to create that kind of reflection, that inversion of an image over a certain line. First, let's translate this math into English, just like we did when we learned about translations. R here stands for the word reflect. What are we reflecting? We are reflecting JKLM. And you can see that's a square right there. And we are reflecting it over line A. As you can see, there's the line A drawn for us. Okay, perfect. Let's do it. Now, the way I like to do this is I measure the distance between each letter and the line. So, for example, J, and of course I'm doing eyeball measurements or computer measurements while I use this. J is this far away from the line. I would like to create the same distance from the line on the other side. So theoretically, this is what I'm doing. I am picking up, no, that's not, let's try that again. I am picking up this distance, perfect, and I am pasting it on the other side. So what it really looks like when I do this by hand or when you're going to do this in your notes is us connecting J to A, to line A, right? And then continuing that same distance to the other side. I'm going to mark the end of that distance with J prime. Now let's do the same thing with K. I'm doing my best with this art. It's a little tough with a diagonal on a screen. So what you would have seen me do if you see me do this in class is I kind of walk around my tablet as I'm teaching it and projecting it. What I recommend you do is turn your paper so that the line A looks like it's coming straight from you. Okay, now let me try to maneuver myself around my tablet. Nope. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, I'm gonna try my best. Let's do this. You can do it, Gumin. That looks pretty good. K to the line. Then let me show you how I would measure this freehand so you see that. Okay, that kind of looks ugly, but I think that's the right distance. So I'm going to redraw that line real quick just to double check and make sure it's the same distance. Let's measure. That's about the same. I'm happy with that freehand. And I'm going to call that K prime. Now this is a square, so we could theoretically stop here, but let's continue. Let's do M. No, whoops. Now why I said we could theoretically stop there is because we could connect J and K and then we could figure out where M and L are going to be because, again, it's a square. M connects to the line. Gonna finger measure it. Should end right about where K does, though, because it's a square. That's a little far, but I'm just gonna mark this dot as M prime. Okay, so let's do L. It's gonna be a little overlappy, but it looks like my image moved. I see it. Hold on, want to show you the right example, so I want to make sure to have the lines well drawn. Okay. Now let's do L. L is going to overlap J. Let's double check that that's the right distance. A little bit too long, but let's redraw the point L. I think it needs to be a bit closer. I think it should be there. Perfect. Alright. Here is our new square. Now it looks kind of crazy with all those lines, so I'm going to erase them for just a second so you can see how we have created a mirror image. See? Now, one way to tell that you've drawn it correctly is that the letter that was closest to the line should remain closest to the line. So J was closest to that line in the middle, and J prime remains closest to the line in the middle. Fantastic! We created a reflection. Now some of you are going to be able to do this without these lines because you are artists, and I am forever jealous. Not me. I need to do this in order to create a decent reflection. Let's try number 2. Similarly to number 1, we're going to reflect STUV over the line M. I'm going to start with V and U because they're close, so I feel like that's going to be easier to do. V connects to the middle, and then I'm going to draw that same distance on the other side. And I'm going to label it V prime. Next, I'm going to do the same thing for U. Pull that one to the side. Decent. Wait. Like this, I think. That's U prime. Now this is a rectangle, so we could stop there and finish drawing our rectangle on the other side, but I want to show you how I reflect every single letter. So next I'm going to reflect letter S. It will overlap. Let's double check that that's about the right size. Now you can't see me, but I am using my fingers to measure this on the screen. S prime. And then next I'm going to take T and do the same thing. It will overlap U. I think it ends about there-ish. And I call that T prime. I'm going to make sure to connect the rectangle. There it is. Let me erase those lines so you can see how we have created an inverted image over the line M. There it is. S and T were furthest away. S prime, T prime are furthest away. V and U were closest to line M. V prime, U prime are closest to line M. Let's try that again for 2 more problems, and then in class, I'm going to send you off to work. For number 3, I absolutely have to rotate myself around this tablet to draw. It is too diagonal, so you'll see me walking around it in class. What you don't see is me doing that at home right now. You should be rotating your paper. I think that's the best way to do it. Okay, I'm going to connect B to the middle. There's no reason that I'm starting with B. Well, there is a reason. My personal preference. I like to start with what's closest. I'm going to do the magic of technology here so that I could give you a more accurate picture than what I would be able to draw. Okay, there's B. I'm going to call that B prime. I highly recommend you label as you go because it is really easy to lose what something is. You might draw the image correctly, but you're going to label it wrong, and that makes it incorrect. Okay, let's do A next. And I'm going to label it A prime. I bet you can tell which side of the tablet I'm on as I'm drawing this. Next, let's do C, because, I don't know, D looks like it might give me some issues. Label that C prime. Okay. Next, let's do D. Okay, not bad. I'm actually pretty pleased. Let's move it to the other side. I'm going to redraw that distance. And I'm going to call it D prime. Okay, let's connect and see if I got decently close. All right, I'm gonna move back around. Okay, you know what? It's something. Um, it has we tried. Me, myself, and I as we tried. I'm gonna erase these lines so you can see what it looks like. Now, if your art ends up looking like mine, that's totally fine. What I'm looking for is pretty much like the correct distances. Is B and B prime both the closest to the inside? Is A across from A prime? Is C across from C prime? D is the furthest away from the line, so D prime should also be the furthest away from the line in the middle. So I'm not going to judge you on your art. I will judge you on the way you label it and the way that the image is placed. Let's try number 4, a little easier because K is perfectly straight pointing at us. We are going to reflect A, B, and C over line K. I'm going to connect B to the middle and then do about the same distance on the other side, B prime. Connect C to the middle, about the same on the other side. That was totally not about the same. That was a little longer. There. A will be overlapping with C, and that's okay. That's okay. A prime. Connect the 3 sides. There's our triangle. I'm going to go ahead and erase the lines so you can see what it looks like. We have a mirror image of A, B, C. On the other side is A prime, B prime, and C prime. Okay, the best way to get good at this is to practice it on your own. So that's exactly what we will be doing once I finish this lesson IRL. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask myself or whoever else is helping you. Otherwise, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of whatever day it is for you. Bye!